Boy lives with alien girl when his parents are. Hello guys, my name is Ben and I talk about anime. Yes guy, I know, my English is so bad, but I hope you can understand me. Well, subscribe to my channel and enjoy watching this video. Let's go. Makoto is your typical middle schooler who used to live in the country outside, but recently relocated to the city to live with his aunt and attend a city middle school. He arrives at the train station and is greeted by his aunt, who is introduced as mean to her. She seems to be a very eccentric nature, more like a very fucked person, and takes him to her house. As soon as he enters the house, she says nothing and behaves as if nothing is amiss. So out of politics, he doesn't ask anything. During the dinner, they sit together, and again the future girl has been propped up on a chair on the dining table, but still Meme hasn't acknowledged its existence. Makoto could control it anymore and asked his aunt about it, but she replies that she doesn't know what he was talking about and that she leave it alone. Clearly, our main character is fucked. It's typical situation, you know? Makoto pushes her for more info again, and she finally says that she is her daughter, but doesn't elaborate of anything else. The next day he goes to school in the new transfer student, and everything goes well. When he returns, he notices the girls sitting on the futon, watching radio static on a TV. He asks her questions about herself, which she replies in a very cryptic fashion. The latter have pizza, and during the night, Makoto goes out on a bike ride and takes her with him. He shows a futon wrapped around the basket of the sickle, and after reaching a deserted store, he gets out and helps her out of her futon. The girl is revealed to be of the same age as him, with blue hair and excessive beauty. She falls down on him and tells him that her name is Aria. It's not like anyone asks, but okay. And she's an alien who is an orph on a secret mission to access the life forms here. What? What the fuck? Makoto and Ariel go to a park and have some dinner, where they talk more about themselves. Ariel only speaks in cryptic language, employing aliens at every turn. Makoto takes her home and puts her to bed. You also take all the girls from the street into your home. Okay, let's go on. The next day, he goes to the school. He has an uneventful day, but when he was coming back, he meets up with one of his bubble classmates, named Rinko, who strikes up a conversation with him. They both bike to school, so they form a friendship and ride their bikes back to their house. He reaches his house and again spots Aria, wrapped in a futon, waiting near the door, asking Makoto to take her for another ride on the bike. He tries to avoid it at first, but then gives in and takes her with him. They go out and she gives him directions that lead him to a seashore, the sandy beach. Makoto was never seen an open water body before. It's very excited and starts playing around in the sand, whereas Aria walks in the water and almost drowns, if not for Makoto, who saved her and brings her back. He asks her why she did that. After watching this anime, I wanted to draw myself too, to which she replies that she often comes here, and when asked how she come here, she replies that she flies here. He takes her back home, and on the way he spots Mako, a weak tall girl from his class, dressed in a sandwich costume, and they start talking. Makoto recognizes Aria and asks him about her. When Makoto says she is her cousin, Rinko asks why she is disappeared a year early. Apparently, she used to go to the same middle school, but one summer day she just disappeared and never come back to the school again. He buys her farewell and comes back to his house and takes Aria to bed. He comes down to the kitchen and finds his owl sitting on the table, eating pizza. He asks her about the information he got from Aria. His aunt affirms that it did happen apparently. Aria used to be a normal girl, but one day she just disappeared. All of a sudden for 6 months, and was later found floating in the sea. She has no memory of the 6 months, but since then, she has started talking about Elia when she got on her bike and jumped off a bridge into a shallow river, thinking she could fly, only to fall down and break her leg. Fucking genius. She was hospitalized, and ever since, she's been wrapping a few around her. Makoto strikes a deal with Ariel, and now every 3 days, they go out in the night near the sea where Aria tries to remember what happened during the classes. He ends up spending a lot of time with Riko, as she likes to have her lunch with him. I know one video that started out that way, and they even bike back home together. One day they even went into the city to different stores to enjoy some food and beverages together. Later, when he comes back home, he's greeted by his aunt, who comes into his room and after playing a game of cards tells him to sit near her. She then proceeds to whisper in his ears that you should back off and leave Area alone. He only wants to be near her because he is physically attracted to her and nothing else. He denies it and says he's just curious, and that's what makes him spend his time with her. It turns out that mom is a good mother who tries her best to give Area which she needs, and she only ignores her resistance because Area wants to be left completely alone. Later in the school, Makoto hatches a plan and decides to go alone with Area. He comes back to his house, hands the bike, and tells Area that they are going to fly together, and if they can't fly, then Area will accept that she is not an alien, but just another human being. Area accepts and he takes her with him and puts her in the basket of his bike. His plan is to descend downhill at full speed and wait for Area to freak out and tell him to stop, at which point he will stop. He starts rolling down the hill, but he underestimates the speed and Area's obsession as she doesn't tell him to stop, and when he tries to stop, the brakes don't work. The end. Okay, I am just joking. They end up jumping on the road into the sea, where they don't get hurt. Ariel seems visibly confused that she can't fly. Makoto comes up to her and tells her that she is only an earthling after all, and he makes her promise that she will not behave like a human and not an alien. After the event, Makoto ends up breaking his arm and is hospitalized for the duration of a month. During that time, he is visited by both Miyuko and Riko, who keep him company for a while. He is eventually released and returns to his home. After 5 days, he was overjoyed by his retirement plans, a lunch restaurant for all there of them, and tells him to get Area. He goes up the stairs and finds Area again in her futon. He gets discouraged, but as soon as he calls her out, she comes out of the futon and asks him what his arm was. Okay, she has finally accepted that she is not an alien, and they all go together to a restaurant on the bike. Days go by without any events, and their mom's birthday arrives. Area and Makoto buy her food, which reminds her that she didn't celebrate Aria's birthday last year, and she resolves to do so the following day. Makoto goes to school and talks to both Riko and Mikato, and decides to buy some sweets from the shop that she works at as a present for Ariel. He arrives back and gives her the present, which is overjoyed by later. She tells him that she wants to return to society and work. Makoto is happy with this development and takes her all over the town for job interviews, but everyone knows her as a weird girl who disappeared, and they refuses to give her any jobs. Ariel loses confidence, but Meme tells Makoto to take her to a certain candy shop. Raiban, an old woman who will definitely hear her. They go to the shop and meet the old woman, who seems to know their family very well. She immediately hears her, and this begins her first steps back into society. One day while visiting Area, Makoto runs into Riko, who he suspects was waiting for him. She comes into the shop and buys some sweets, and after meeting the old lady, she leaves. While leaving, she tells Makoto that he should spend too much time with Area because she had a bad reputation in society, and if he spent too much time with her, he might become isolated from society as well. He's troubled by this though, and asks the old woman about it, who says that isolation doesn't really matter, and everyone can live by themselves. Having friends is just another luxury, as you do not need them to survive, but it is good to have them. This gives him some relief. Later, while having lunch with Maiko at the school, she should just go into his house after school. He appears frustrated, but agrees. After school is over, she comes over to his desk, and they prepare to leave, but Rinko overhears them and asks to accompany him. They agree and all but of his place. They go to Aria's room first, and later spend their time in the Code's room, playing around. When they were about to leave, Min comes back. Maiko whispers something in her ears, and both she and Min leave the house, telling Makoto and Riko to cook something together. The day passed, but Emiko had a great idea. She proposed to her friends that they make some bottle rockets together, and one of which an older gentleman who always watches these water rockets, and the empty space behind her shoot. The Kono Area and Ryuko were all excited to make this rocket and see them fly. The next day, they all gathers in the area's house, or Mike Ewald taught them how to create these rockets. Want to continue? You need get 15 likes in this video. Well, you have been with you. Watch my other video, and see you later, friends. Bye bye.